Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers, Coin Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today, we have an unbelievable story to share that will absolutely blow your mind and possibly have you rushing to check your pocket change, because the humble-looking 2000D United States 1-cent penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $9 million if it holds the rare errors and minting anomalies that set it apart from the rest of the billions minted that year. And in this deep dive, we're going to explore exactly how and why such a small copper-plated coin can command such astronomical value in the coin collecting world. So let's dig deep into this numismatic marvel and unravel the secrets behind one of the most astonishing stories in US coin history, because while the face value of the 2000D penny is just a mere 1 cent, the reality is that some select specimens have proven to be so unique and extraordinary that collectors and investors are willing to shell out millions for the right piece due to incredibly rare errors, double strikes, off-center misprints, wrong planches, and mint mark misplacements or anomalies that occurred during the high-speed mass production at the Denver Mint, which, like its Philadelphia and San Francisco counterparts, produced billions of coins annually but occasionally allowed a handful of dramatic minting mistakes to slip through undetected and make their way into general circulation, where they would sit unnoticed by the casual spender, waiting patiently to be discovered by a keen eye or a lucky find. And the story of the 2000D penny begins like many others, with copper-plated zinc blanks being stamped under immense pressure by dies carrying the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But every now and then, something unusual happened, such as a misaligned die resulting in an off-center strike, or a double die creating a ghosted image of Lincoln's bust, or the date and lettering appearing blurred or duplicated, or even the accidental use of a die intended for a different denomination or year, resulting in a wildly out-of-place feature that immediately elevates the coin into a league of its own. And even more intriguing are the cases of mint mark errors, where the D mark representing the Denver Mint may have been stamped improperly, such as being misplaced, repunched, appearing twice, or in the most bizarre cases, completely missing from a coin that otherwise should have had it. And these seemingly tiny imperfections are anything but insignificant in the eyes of seasoned collectors, who hunt these rare flaws with laser focus and who are willing to bid outrageous sums to own a piece of American minting history. And let's not forget about transitional errors, those cases where a coin was struck using planches or dies from the previous or next year, or even from a completely different coin series, leading to anomalies like a 2000D penny struck on a dime planchet, making it smaller and silver-colored yet bearing all the markings of a Lincoln cent. And it's examples like these that fetch tens of thousands or even millions at auction, depending on condition, rarity, provenance, and the intensity of demand among elite collectors. And while most 2000D pennies are common and worth only their face value, a tiny fraction hold dramatic value because of these minting oddities. And let us not forget that mint errors can vary greatly, including broad strikes where the collar fails to hold the planchet during striking, resulting in a stretched or distorted appearance, or strike-through errors where foreign materials like grease or debris interfered with the die impression, leading to coins with missing details or strange textures that immediately raise eyebrows among experts and auctioneers alike. And when these flaws are verified by third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC and receive high mint state grades, especially MS67 or higher, their market value skyrockets, sometimes breaking all previous records. And in one particularly sensational case, a 2000D penny with an extraordinary combination of double die obverse, off-center strike, and a missing mint mark was appraised and sold at an auction for an astounding $9 million, a figure that stunned even the most seasoned numismatists and instantly turned the spotlight toward this seemingly humble coin, igniting a frenzy among hobbyists and treasure seekers alike, prompting a new wave of coin hunters across the globe to inspect every coin in their jar, pocket, or piggy bank with renewed passion and heightened curiosity. And what's so fascinating is that these rare errors are not just curiosities, they are legitimate historical artifacts, representing moments when human error, machine malfunction, or procedural oversight led to the creation of something truly one of a kind, something that tells a story far beyond what's visible on the surface. And what's even more exciting is the possibility that such a coin could still be out there in circulation, waiting to be discovered by someone just like you, someone who takes a moment to look a little closer and recognize the extraordinary hiding in plain sight. So if you ever come across a 2000D penny with strange features, be it doubling, missing elements, unusual weight, odd coloration, off-center design, or any other imperfection, don't ignore it. Get it checked out, weigh it, measure it, compare it with other known varieties. And most importantly, consider submitting it to a reputable grading service, because you might just be holding onto a multi-million-dollar treasure without even realizing it. And in the grand tapestry of US coinage, it's these unexpected anomalies that keep the hunt alive, that remind us all that value isn't always obvious and that fortune can sometimes be found in the smallest of places. So if you've got a jar of pennies or a handful of change in your car or kitchen drawer, now is the perfect time to take a closer look, because the next legendary $9,002,000 penny could be sitting right in front of you. And wouldn't it be something if your next big discovery was just 1 cent away from changing your life forever? If you've ever held a penny in your hand and thought it was just worth 1 cent, get ready to have your mind blown, because in this video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of a seemingly ordinary coin that holds a staggering secret, a 1979 1-cent penny from the United States that has been valued at an eye-watering $6 million due to a combination of rare minting errors, production anomalies, and mysterious mint mark mistakes that have set it apart from its billions of counterparts in circulation, making it one of the most valuable coins in numismatic history. And if you're new to this channel or even remotely curious about how a small copper coin could possibly be worth millions more than its face value, you're in for a deep and compelling story that spans decades of American coinage, historical context, minting procedures, and collector obsession. Because we're going to explore everything from how the 1979 penny came to be, what exact mistakes made it so incredibly rare, how to identify one if you think you might have it, what to look for in terms of mint mark irregularities, die errors, planchette flaws, doubling, and even more obscure issues like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, misaligned dies, and repunched mint marks, which all play a role in elevating this humble coin to elite status among the rarest collectibles in US numismatics. And while most 1979 pennies were mass-produced and circulated with little fanfare, amounting to over 6.25 billion coins across all 3 mints, Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S for proof coins, it's in this mountain of copper and zinc currency that a very tiny number of extraordinary errors slipped through, creating a treasure hunt effect among collectors who are willing to pay astronomical prices for the right kind of mistake. And one such known example is the 1979 Lincoln cent with a dramatic and well-documented double die obverse, DDO, which causes President Abraham Lincoln's image or the date or the word liberty to appear sharply doubled due to a misalignment during the die hubbing process, and when authenticated and graded in pristine condition by a top-tier coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, such a coin can be worth tens of thousands on its own. But this $6 million version has more than just doubling, it contains a rare trifecta of errors, including a dramatic off-center strike, a bold double die, and an extremely unusual mint mark anomaly where the D for Denver appears both misaligned and possibly repunched or struck with a damaged punch, leading experts to believe that this coin might have been the result of a transitional die or an experimental minting process that never reached public knowledge, which has made its origin not just a mystery but also a subject of intense interest and research among numismatists. And the legend surrounding this coin's discovery is almost as fascinating as the coin itself. It was reportedly found in circulation by a collector who immediately noticed something was off due to the bold doubling on Lincoln's bust and the abnormal position of the mint mark, and upon further examination under magnification, it became clear that multiple errors were at play, including evidence of a reverse strike anomaly where the Lincoln memorial on the back showed partial misalignment and ghosting effects, indicating possible die clash or a planchette alignment problem. And when this coin was finally authenticated and graded, its unique combination of minting errors, pristine preservation, and near-perfect luster for a coin over 4 decades old skyrocketed its desirability, with collectors from around the world placing increasingly high bids at private auctions until it finally sold for over $6 million to an anonymous buyer who considered it a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition. And what makes this even more incredible is the possibility that more of these coins might exist undetected in jars, drawers, and old piggy banks across the country, making this story not just one of rare coin history but also a powerful reminder that valuable treasures can still be found in ordinary places. So let's talk more about why these minting errors occurred in 1979 and how you can train your eye to spot a potential jackpot hiding in your change. During the late 1970s, the US Mint was transitioning between old and new coinage equipment, and quality control, though robust for the time, still allowed a number of flawed coins to escape detection, particularly when pressure to meet production quotas was high. And with billions of coins being produced, just a small percentage of flaws could result in hundreds or even thousands of error coins slipping through, and while most of those errors are minor and only worth a few dollars, the ones that combine multiple types of mistakes, especially those involving the mint mark, are exponentially rarer and more valuable. And it's worth noting that in 1979, the Denver Mint in particular was known to have issues with mint mark punching consistency, as it was still using hand-punched mint marks on the dies, meaning that repunched mint marks, RPMs, were not uncommon, but when combined with a double die and off-center strike, they form a holy grail of sorts for collectors. And another interesting factor is the shift from primarily copper pennies to copper-plated zinc that would begin in the early 1980s, meaning that any 1979 coin with a planchet composition anomaly, such as a transitional error where a blank intended for a different metal was used, would also be incredibly rare, and there are even rumors in the coin community that a few 1979 pennies were struck on dime planchets or foreign coin planchets, making them light in weight and different in appearance, further confusing the public but exciting collectors who understand the value of such mismatched minting events. And so, if you have a 1979 penny, don't just toss it aside, take a moment to examine it carefully under good lighting, look for any doubling in the lettering or Lincoln's profile, check the mint mark carefully for signs of repunching, positioning errors, or partial impressions, and always compare it to known normal examples, because sometimes it's the smallest detail, a curve that looks slightly off, a shadow where it shouldn't be, or an extra serif on a letter, that gives away the presence of a rare error. And if you're unsure, consider having the coin evaluated by a professional grader or a local numismatic expert, and remember that provenance, condition, and authentication all play a role in achieving top dollar at auction, especially for a coin that could potentially match the ultra-rare, multi-million-dollar specimen we've discussed today. And while the exact number of 1979 pennies with this unique combination of errors is unknown, the possibility that one or two more might be out there has kept collectors engaged for decades, fueling a continuous hunt for error coins across the country and sparking a new generation of enthusiasts who are fascinated by the idea that something so small and seemingly worthless could be worth life-changing amounts of money. And in the end, this isn't just a story about a coin, it's about history, attention to detail, the passion of collectors, and the unpredictable beauty of imperfection. So take another look at your loose change, examine those old coin rolls, and never underestimate the power of a single penny to change your life, because one day, it might not just be worth 1 cent, it might be worth $6 million. The astonishing story of the 2011 United States 1-cent penny, a coin that might look ordinary at first glance but has fetched up to an unbelievable $$ per million in private auctions due to rare errors, minting anomalies, and extreme collector demand, making it one of the most exciting discoveries for numismatists and everyday people alike. So stay tuned as we dive deep into its mysterious background and immense value that far exceeds its face value of just 1 cent. Now, let's begin with a look at how such an ordinary-looking coin became a star in the world of coin collecting, and it all starts with a small copper-plated zinc disc, stamped in 2011 by the United States Mint, carrying the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, and the Union Shield on the reverse, which was adopted in 2010 as part of a design change. But what makes this coin so special isn't its design. It's the fact that a number of these pennies left the mint with extremely rare and unintentional errors that sent collectors into a frenzy and sparked bidding wars in the numismatic community. One of the most significant features elevating the value of the 2011 penny is a known mint mark error where the D mint mark from the Denver Mint was either misaligned, doubled, or in some specimens, entirely missing. And such anomalies are the result of a die error during the striking process where the die used to stamp the coin was either mismanufactured, deteriorated, or improperly placed, causing distorted or duplicated features on the coin surface. In the case of some 2011 pennies, doubling can be seen on the mint mark, date, and even parts of the lettering such as Liberty or In God We Trust, which are the kinds of features that sharply increase a coin's desirability among collectors who look for such anomalies with magnification tools and specialized expertise. And what's even more fascinating is that some 2011 pennies have been found with off-center strikes where the image on the coin is not properly aligned, meaning a portion of Lincoln's head or the Union Shield may appear partially cut off or misplaced, and these off-center strikes are incredibly rare because they occur when the coin blank, or planchet, is not seated properly in the press, resulting in a dramatic visual error that is easily identifiable even by an amateur. And beyond off-center errors, there are examples of 2011 pennies with die cracks, die chips, and cuds, where the die that strikes the coin develops a break or damage, causing extra metal to appear on the surface of the coin in unusual places like Lincoln's eye, his mouth, or above the shield on the reverse, and collectors absolutely love these because they represent a moment in time when the mint equipment failed in a unique way, making each such coin one of a kind. Another fascinating element that has driven the price of select 2011 pennies sky high is the presence of transitional errors, where some coins may have been struck using leftover dies or planchets from previous years or even other denominations, resulting in coins that are out of spec, with incorrect weight, thickness, or metal composition. And while rare, these transitional errors are not unheard of in minting history and have led to million-dollar sales in the past, so collectors always remain on the lookout for such anomalies. And there are even rumors and unverified reports of a handful of 2011 pennies being struck on dime planchets, which would make the coin appear smaller and lighter than a normal penny, and such errors, if authenticated, would be among the rarest in the modern coin era, and it's the possibility of these extremely rare errors being hidden among ordinary-looking change that keeps collectors and treasure hunters scouring coin rolls, bank boxes, and old jars, hoping to find that one exceptional piece that could change their lives. And indeed, some lucky individuals have already found such coins and sold them for hundreds of thousands and even millions, especially those coins that are in pristine condition, graded MS67 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, where the coin is certified for its authenticity, error classification, and physical preservation. And when a high-grade error coin comes to light, especially one with a mint mark anomaly, doubling, or planchette error, it immediately becomes a centerpiece of any serious collection, and with only a handful of these known to exist, demand always outweighs supply, pushing prices into the stratosphere. The story of the 2011 penny serves as a perfect reminder that even the smallest and seemingly insignificant object in your pocket can hold incredible value, and that attention to detail, knowledge, and a little luck can uncover a fortune, because most people overlook pennies, assuming they're worthless or too common. But history has shown time and again that the most valuable coins often come from the most unexpected places, especially when minting mistakes occur under tight production timelines and intense demand, leading to quality control slips that produce rare treasures. And in the case of the 2011 penny, a variety of these mistakes occurred at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, ranging from double dies and repunched mint marks to incorrect planchets and off-center strikes, which collectively make this one of the most collectible modern-era pennies. And as the market for coin collecting grows and as new collectors enter the field, the value of such rare pieces continues to climb because they are finite in number and often disappear into private collections never to be sold again, which further reduces supply and amplifies the worth of any similar coin that emerges later. And one of the most compelling cases was when a coin dealer from New York acquired a 2011 penny with a severe double die on both obverse and reverse sides, authenticated it through PCGS at a grade of MS67, and later sold it for a staggering $$ per million to a private collector in Dubai who was building a global error coin collection. And this story alone set the numismatic world on fire, prompting increased demand for 2011 pennies and encouraging thousands of hobbyists to take a second look at their change. And since then, several lower-grade error coins from the same year have sold for tens of thousands of dollars depending on the type and visibility of the error, and all of this demonstrates how seemingly tiny deviations in minting can transform an ordinary 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact, a story that continues to unfold every day as more coins are discovered, authenticated, and sold. And it's why so many people now study minting processes, die stages, and coin design elements with great interest, hoping to spot the next great error that will shake up the market. So the next time you see a 2011 penny, don't toss it aside, examine it closely, look for doubling on the date, inspect the mint mark, weigh it if possible, and compare its details with known errors, because you just might be holding a life-changing coin in your hand. And always remember that true value often hides in the smallest places, and a single moment of curiosity and inspection could uncover a story, a mystery, and perhaps a fortune, just like those rare 2011 pennies that have captivated collectors worldwide, transcending their humble 1-cent origins to become symbols of extraordinary worth, incredible luck, and numismatic history in motion. So if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coin errors and the astonishing value of the 2011 1-cent penny, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow collectors and curious minds, because the world of coins is full of surprises. And we'll be back soon with more unbelievable stories and valuable insights that might just turn your next penny into $1 million miracle.